Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to latest episode of Derek Invests. I'm your host, Derek Miller. I thought we would do today is two things. One, the Dow yesterday had an amazing day. Well, the Nasdaq did not. Russell 2000 is having an amazing July, while the Nasdaq is not. So what we're starting to see is some underperformers overperform. So this can be one of two things. It can be a transition. The leaders are now going to turn into laggards, which is which is a signal that you should look for when you're looking for a trend reversal. When the leaders start to lag and the laggards start to lead, this is one of the first indicators of a trend reversal. It could also simply mean that the recovery is very real. So small caps are starting to take off, and some of the large industrials are starting to take off. We're going to take a look at that. And we're also going to take a look at the top 5 publicly traded blood plasma companies, because it's not funny. And this will tell you a little bit about what I think. So credits extended in the U.S. I just read an article that said blood plasma donations at paying companies are the highest that they have ever been, and there are more companies getting into the business. So let's just be real clear on what something like that means. We already know how extended U.S. citizens' credit is. Now, apparently, U.S. citizens are in droves heading to blood plasma centers to sell their fluids for money. So we're going to take a look at it. So look, I read the article. I'm not making this stuff up. We're going to take a look at a few of these companies. I've never looked at them before, as most of the times that I talk on here, I look at it for the first time with you. That way I have no predetermined. What I don't want to do is get my mind going in a direction where I'm thinking one thing before I even look at a chart. I do not want that to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at those blood plasma companies, and then we are also going to take a very quick look at what we think about what's going on with the Dow and the Nasdaq. Is it in fact the leaders rolling over and the laggards taking over for the time being that will lead to a much bigger drop, or in fact is this just this rebound is very, very real? Small and mid cap companies somehow are getting capitalized and they are starting to actually move. We're just going to go take a look. So let's get started. Let's move over. I don't even think, hold on one second here. I'm not even in. I use TradingView traditionally for these because I like the way, I really do like the way it looks so far on my screen the best. I just do. I think it's easy to understand. I think it keeps a lot of crap off the screen. So I do enjoy it. But again, for July, we saw that very large spike in volume on the Nasdaq, and then it has not gone anywhere since at market highs, while the laggards are sort of taking over as leaders. So we're going to look at that. Let's share the screen. Sorry, I was logging in there. I didn't mean to make you sit there and wait. So let's go ahead and pull some of this up. Let me see where we're at. Yep, we are in the right spot there. Okay, so let me get back over here. Let's see. So let's first look at CSL Limited. Oh, I should have probably checked out some of these symbols first. CSL is an Australian company that operates CSL pharma centers in the US. They collect blood plasma and they give compensation. But this is let's see what this symbol does. I should have looked at this. See, this goes with just kind of telling you, yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be able to look at this one. CSL. CSL Limited. What's the volume like on this thing? It's low. The volume is really, really low. Let's look at this thing long term. I always go out to a monthly. Okay, so what would this tell me? Well, you can see, as always, what you're always looking for is high volume at a low. So this is trading in a range from 230. It's a big range, man. From 230 to 230 to 330, everybody. You could even call the top of the range 320, whatever. You don't have to be too particular with that. 230 to 320. Is there anything that speaks to you volume? No, not really. 1 week. Let's take a look. Anything here? This is, I would say most of the volume. Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's split. It's split. The volume's at lows and highs within the range on a weekly. On a daily, let's take a look. Well, this is definitely at a low, which explains the price move, right? Yeah, there's nothing really here to see. Let's look at the next stock. Grifols SA. Grifols is a Spanish company with a big presence in the U.S. and that operates plasma centers. GRFS. Let's take a look. GRFS. Let's go on a monthly. Oof. All right, so we definitely see some volume step in here at the lows. This I would say is probably capitulation of this particular stock down here at the lows, which means the price move could be massively to the upside. Let's take a look. It really could be massive when you see something like that. Now, that's the first marker, so it can break to a new low. When you're making a low in any stock, there will be a revisit for supply, right? They want to pick up more shares. Wow. That's 60 million shares that day. What's it this day? This is 30 million shares. Wow. These are, I'm on a weekly chart. This is 21 million shares at this high price. It did leave a gap. Let's go to a daily. So I tell everybody what you want to look for when you're setting up your portfolios. You have holders and your short-term holders. You absolutely must, because you have to control taxation. Taxes will eat you alive in the investing game, whether you're a day trader, whether you're a swing trader, whether you claim to be long-term. Usually the word long-term, I hold for the long-term, means you don't know what you're doing. That is really what it typically means, because there is a way, mind you, to hold for the long term in an intelligent manner while hedging against the markets themselves or hedging against your positions. Most long-term quote unquote traders do not do that because they don't know what they're doing. Long-term to them simply means that okay, look at this big gap and look at all this volume at this high price. This is people hitting the exit button. Make no mistake about it. This is people jumping ship. You have a gap that drops all the way down to 7. Look at this gap down filled. Why? Because it is being accumulated. So this stock is being accumulated. And I bring up the blood plasma thing, not to be scary to anyone or anything like that, but because it's an interesting subject. And I'm on here every day. And when you're on every day, you have to find an interesting subject. Hey, everybody, here's Tasty Trade. Earn up to $4,000 when you open and fund a new account at Tasty Trade. Trade with low fees, smart support, and great tools. Join Tasty Trade. Probably worth looking at. Okay. Anyway, so gap fills. Here we go, but we leave another gap. So this chart likes to fill gaps, by the way, everybody. So let's take a look here. What do we got? This is definitely volume at the high there. Is there any gaps through here? See how all the gaps are filling? See, gap up, fills. Gap down, fills. This chart likes to fill gaps. It's moving efficiently. We like to see that because it gives us a lot of, it gives us a fairly decent indicator as to what should go on with price. Now, as it reaches this low price, you see a lot of volume. This is a 5-minute chart. You see a lot of volume. So this would indicate that we would be looking for a pop to a higher price, which could be this higher price right here, right? So on a 1-minute chart, you have a ton of volume here. It pops up. I realize the volume is super, super low. You're on a 1-minute chart for GRFS, which I doubt very many people even look at. So if we're looking at a 5-minute chart, I would say, again, you are looking for a pop up. Let's take a look at what we think, where we think it may move to. If this thing were going to move up, they're going to retest and see if they can get more sellers up here. That's what they're going to look for. So you're probably looking at a move to 9. And then you'll be looking at a move to 7. So your near term, let's go ahead and put this up. What's today's date? Today is, sorry, everybody, the 17th. So let's go ahead. It is 7/17/2024. We are looking at GRFS. We would say that we're probably looking at $9. $9. When will we be looking at that? Probably we're on what, a 15-minute chart. Things are moving pretty quickly around here lately. It's the 17th. Let's go ahead and give it an August. We'll need first week of August. So let's say August 7th. 8. Whoop. Oh, 8/7. That's funny. 7, 2024. Whoop. 2024. And I have timing again in the summertime, everybody. If you think it's easy, yeah, right. Timing is not easy in the summer because of the low volume. Believe it or not, traders take a break too. Let's go ahead and slap a line on that 9. Come on, you. There. At 9. Let's do this. Boop, 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 boop. And there we go. It could happen much quicker than that. That move up is to move it back down so that they can purchase more. They is institutional money, folks. If you're just tuning in or this is your first time listening, they is always institutional money. Institutional money leaves large footprints anytime they make a move. Well, you are told that institutional money is too hard to track. You can't track them. You can't see it, and you certainly can't see it with any certainty. I assure you that is absolutely incorrect. Most people cannot. I would agree with that 100%. But you absolutely can see them with a lot of certainty. Long term, this thing is headed up, but for now, it's going to come back to 7 first. So let's do. It's 7. I notate all this stuff very meticulously now because when my predictions are as accurate as they are, everybody looks for a reason to say, oh, well, you didn't cite this, you didn't cite that. So now I do, always. $7. I leave this in blue because long term, this is a great buy. Shift, what am I putting here? Oh, target date. Target date of, let's see, I gave that to the 7th. I probably took that out too long. Let's just say September 1st. And this will be a good way for me to give you a couple of time frames to work off of as well, because the fact of the matter is, for those of you, I only care about long term, which you should care about long term, but there are very inexpensive ways to play the short term. You don't have to buy and sell your portfolios, folks. Anybody who's doing that has no clue what that will do. A, to your taxes, and B, to your cash flow is it's annihilation. So yeah, I would never tell you to do that. Now let's take a look at this thing long term. Where should it go to long term? Let's just go up to an hour. Actually, let's go to a day. Let's say, hey, what happens the next 6 months? You are looking at, by year end, you're looking at $11. by the end of the year. There you go. Again, GRFS. Let's give it an $11 target. It is, what did I say, the 17th. It's funny, if you go back and look at my last couple of months where I've really been specific with target dates and where things are heading, and you look at the accuracy level that I'm posting on here, every day is free information. Those of you not taking advantage of it, I can't imagine why at this point. Target date, this is going to be 12/31/2024. I can't imagine why, because I give you conservative targets, right? Like, I'm not having you stretch this stuff out, because this should go much higher than this, by the way. But I'm not having you stretch this stuff out all the way to the peak. You're getting very, very easy money to be made here. And this is just the free information I put out. If this is the free information I put out, what do you think you actually learn from me? Be honest with yourself. I give this away. And this is gold that I give away regularly. So if I give this away, what do you learn from me? Imagine what you'd be doing if you were with me, if you were trading with me, like you were learning how to trade, you were learning how to set up your portfolio, you were actually learning what your risk parameters are, what your cash parameters are, what your investment should look like. I pull this stuff up at random. This just struck me because I read that article. So this is BioLife Plasma Centers. I'm sorry, there's not 5 publicly traded that popped up. I use ChatGPT, by the way, to just look up companies. Only 3 of them are actually publicly traded. So this will be the last one. And then we'll just take a quick look at why the NASDAQ and Dow, or what it appears as though, why the NASDAQ and Dow are diverging from one another. Let's take a look. So this company didn't matter at all until 2019. This is all nothing. People are interested now, though, huh? We're gonna have to get weekly on this thing. Otherwise, this chart doesn't mean anything in its current position. Okay. Right now, yeah, nothing. Remember, everyone, I look at positions that have something long-term, intermediate term, and short-term, so that I can have an idea of where to intelligently enter and exit. I do not buy entries based on some idea purely, I read an article talked about plasma centers. That doesn't mean I jump in and start buying plasma centers, right? I take a look at them. There's nothing here worth anything. In fact, if I were looking at this, this is all the price action is at higher prices. Well, I don't know. This is kind of close to where we are now. So is this. So it looks like maybe the low end of this range might be being purchased. We'll zoom in a little bit because sometimes the only play to be made is a short-term play, and that's why you'll see me zoom in regardless, because there are a lot of short-term guys that follow me, or at least, well, there's at least a few dozen that play super short, and I know they are always interested, and so am I. What I find most interesting about this chart so far is the fact that it is running efficiently, that the gaps are in fact filling. Gaps, for those of you that are unaware, are these holes in charts like this, where price sort of skips this entire center. And then as price comes back down, that's called filling the gap. So if it leaves a big hole up, price will come down to fill that hole. If it leaves a big hole down, price will come up to fill that hole. And that's called filling a gap for anybody who is new to watching me. And I like charts where gaps fill, because that means institutions are playing. Institutions do not like to miss a dollar. Their professional trading desks do not like to miss a dollar. So they will always fill those gaps to get the best possible prices, which is why I enjoy them. All right. Well, I guess most of the knowledge that we gained today was on that last one. Who was that again? Oh, Grifols. Grifols definitely is a play. There's definitely a play to be had there. So Grifols was the only real chart that mattered when it came to the blood plasma center. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ now and see what we can think about that. The Dow is now raging to a high, and Russell 2000, I think, is up 12 or 13% in July. So for some of you short-term guys, you should probably be looking at the Russell, not the NASDAQ at the moment, because the NASDAQ has done like 12. The Russell's done 16. In fact, I think biotech's a massive mover too. It's up there at 20 for the month of July. So let's take a look. Okay, NASDAQ, here we go, monthly. Let's see if it looks to us as though that we are having a leader turn into a lagger. Volume is definitely way down on the weekly. We know that it's summer months. What we want to see is volume pumping up extreme levels on the Russell and biotech as compared to the NASDAQ, because that will kind of give us an indication as to how the interplay between these two markets is going and if it means anything. So let's take a look here. We're at a 4 hour. Okay, we do have, look at this. This is a significant increase in volume, everybody, right there. That is what? July 11th. A big increase in volume. And I would even say since then, volume has been high. Take a look at that. Volume has definitely been higher, okay, since that week of July, and the NASDAQ has done nothing, okay? So that's interesting. This is only a 4 hour chart, everybody. I mean, you're not looking long term here. This is a 1 hour chart. Look at the volume bubble there. Although you could argue that you could argue that it's no big deal. Now, what we're going to look at is this as compared to the small caps, IWM, and biotech, XBI, because what we want to see is are large chunks of volume pushing those prices higher. Because if they are, then that would mean that we should at least expect a reasonable correction, or we could potentially be entering a bear. But we want to evaluate. Okay, so here's the NASDAQ. I'm going to take a look. Here you are at a high price with high volume. That would indicate probably more selling there at 496.38. Let's go ahead and quickly take a look at, actually, let's look at the big dog right now. The big dog for the month of July is biotech. All right, it's up 20%. Let's take a look here. That's definitely an increase in volume on a weekly basis. Is it anything outstanding? I don't know. I mean, not to me. Anything here outstanding? No. You're approaching levels of March, so you're about to hit a bunch of resistance in biotech, which is probably why it picked up so much steam. We're on a daily. So, yeah, I mean, you can see it's marching. There's no doubt about it. There it is. You fired. Yeah, wow. Okay. Let's go to 1 hour. Anything. No. And you have a big gap here. And I can tell you biotech loves to fill gaps. So, from a biotech standpoint, you're going to come back to this 95 mark before you storm higher. You just are. There's not enough volume right now to break that resistance. There just isn't. So you're going to come back into this 95 level. How quickly? Well, let's keep zooming in and see where it's at. Yeah. 99. This isn't really a gap, everyone. So if you go back to that 15-minute, in the next 2 weeks, your biotech should be at 95. That's where it'll be. So let's go ahead and change that to red and then get our arrow down. Yeah. So we'll do 7/17/2024. We will do XBI. I like the people who just look at my charts because I wonder if they have any idea that it is crucial to actually watch the video so you know why I use the colors I use and what I'm actually saying. I couldn't imagine if you're reading this, you're going, hey, this guy's negative on biotech, huh? But that's, look, you don't educate yourself. You're always a victim of your own thoughts and assumptions, right? I mean, that's the way it goes. So we're going to call this what? I want a 15-minute. We'll call it 2 weeks. So let's give it to, I don't even know what 8.3 is, but I'm going to choose 8.2. See, I don't even look. I mean, it's going to take 2 weeks. And that's where it should be. All right, let's take a picture of that. I would not say that that the biotech sector is looking to take over anything at the moment. As far as a laggard turning into a leader, there's just not enough volume there for that. So I'm not interested in that from that standpoint. Let's take a look at small and mid caps and see what we see. Let's go out to a monthly. What we're looking for, everybody, is a major volume move. This is a major price move. And again, it's just coming up into resistance. And it's coming into some long-term resistance, by the way. That's 2021 resistance. And it doesn't look like it has anywhere near the volume to get there. Oh, gosh. No, it definitely does not. Okay, so we've answered that question. You want a price breakdown? Look at that volume, though. That is real volume on that daily chart. Ooh, baby, in the last 4 days. I am definitely going to cover small and mid caps. If you're interested in learning about small and mid caps, you're interested in learning how this goes with my one-on-one students, I will definitely be covering this chart. So if you're interested, you're going to have to contact me and look into becoming one of my one-on-one students. So we're going to end it there as far as I'm not going to give price action on small caps, but I can tell you there's definitely something at play. Without a doubt, small caps and mid caps, there is definitely something at play. More, you'll need to become one of my students. I don't have a QR code for my one-on-ones, and I'll tell you why I don't. I don't because one-on-ones are very specific to the individual. Some people need a lot more. Some people need a lot less. Okay. This is my Twitter handle. I'm going to throw it up now. This is also the easiest email address to reach me at. Please feel free to reach out to me if you're interested in becoming a one-on-one student. If you've been following me, you see my accuracy rate. I don't need to explain it to you. I don't need to be braggadocious. It is all online. I hit my level after level after level to the upside, to the downside, within the same positions, mind you. I do it independently as well, right? So we just went through a few. I will hit those marks as I always, not always, I have to watch my words matter. It's not always, but my accuracy level is extremely high. It doesn't matter if you break it down to 30-second charts, 1-minute charts, 5-minute charts, 1 hourly charts, monthly charts, it makes no difference. And what I teach people how to do is actually set up a portfolio to control their taxes. Right? You have to control the amount of money going out in taxes. You have to control the amount of risk that you're taking first, and then you have to know how much risk you're even capable of taking. Just because someone else is capable of 50% drops doesn't mean you are. Some people's maximum risk is about 5%, and they hit the eject button. But they don't know that, and they wonder why they keep losing when they trade. Because once they breach 5%, they start making irrational decisions based on emotion instead of based on logic. Where do your emotions take over? At what point does your logic go out the window and your emotions take over? Because I can tell you the one beautiful thing right now is the fact that everybody is using all of this. They're calling it AI, but it's just machine trading. I love it. It's the easiest thing in the whole world to trade against. I absolutely love it. I would love to go head to head with any machine just to annihilate it, trade after trade. It can't keep up with me. It won't be able to keep up with me because it can't read human emotions. It's working off of RSI. It's working off of moving averages. It's working off of support and resistance. It works off of Fibonacci. It follows the exact same rules every time. I don't operate within rules, but if I know your rules, I know how to beat you because I don't have to follow them. You do. And you is a machine. So listen, there's never been a better time to learn how to do this the right way. If you're interested, email me. Go to my website, www.prometheaninvesting.com. It is right there, dmiller@prometheaninvesting.com. Go to prometheaninvesting.com, reach out to me, contact me. There's never been a better time to make money in the market. It's never been easier. It is so difficult to trade against a human trader who understands how this stuff works. Trading against a machine is for children. You don't believe me? Go look at my accuracy rate. Why do you think I'm so accurate right now? Why can't I miss in the last 4 years? I assure you my genius level has not increased. My intelligence level has not increased. These machines are following rules that are easily identifiable and very easily to beat. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. As always, remember, if you're not good up here, you're not good anywhere. You will solve today's problems. You've never failed. You don't need to worry about that. How do I know? Because you're still here. If you're still here, you're still in the game. Get outside. Check out the sunlight. I have sun beaming into my eyes right now, and I love it. It makes me feel good. Go for a walk. Smile. Sometimes it doesn't. There's days where smiling feels completely inappropriate, but fake it till you make it. Put that smile on. Smile till it becomes real, baby. All right. And remember, every day above ground is a good day.